Hello everyone, Derrick Floyd here, IK Multimedia. Welcome to IMSTA FESTA Online 2020. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into IK Multimedia's brand new release of our flagship product, AmpliTube 5. You can bet guitar players all over the world are chomping at the bit to get their hands on this incredible new piece of software. They're saying this could change how guitar effects and amps and modeling software change forever. It's that big. Or so our ad says, one giant leap for amp kind. Now you already know that IK has been at the forefront of modeling technology for years, and some of the best amp manufacturers in the world trust us to get their branded versions right, like Fender, Orange, Gavin Kruger, THG, Mesa Boogie, just to name a few. And even go further than that, a lot of the artists trust us to get their signature tone just right. When you think of Brian May, Dimebag Darrell, and most recently Joe Satriani. So you know AmpliTube's going to get it right. IK is going to make sure we get you exactly what you're listening for. So with that in mind, we had to bring someone that's a guitar virtuoso, someone that you'd mention in the names of people like Steve Vai or Joe Satriani. This one is one of our friends for IK, and he's going to help us unpack AmpliTube 5 for you to see the full power of what a guitar player can do with this brand new software. Will you please help me welcome my good friend, Mr. Neil Zaza. Neil, you there, buddy?
What's up, D? How are you? Good to be here.
Oh, man. Good to see you, bro. How you been?
Been good. You know, just COVID hunkered down, but making music, recording, doing what we do. Like, I laugh. Like, I've been waiting for this my whole life, just the time to do the projects and the music and everything. So just doing the best we can and loving life. So,
well, luckily, IK is still making killer products for you to jam out on, and you are still making music, right? So
exactly, it's strange. We were talking before we got on here about cycling. Like I'm a cyclist. I'm always in China on tour in October because it's the big trade show, and one of my tours in China each year is basically October. So like I don't even know what Ohio looks like in October, and here it is. So you know, there's something new every day.
Well, let's talk about some stuff, some IK stuff. Now we got these guys here. All right, so man, first of all, thanks for taking the time to be here. You know, you've been an amazing friend to me, but you're also an amazing guitar virtuoso. Like I said before, hailed as one of the greats, man, with the Steve Vais and the Satrianis and those that have done, you know, even the Eddie Van Halen's, rest his soul as well. You know, we're just excited to have you dive into this product. And but my question starts off with, when and where did you find the love for the instrument guitar itself? When did that come about in your world?
Good question, and a timely question as it approaches me, because everything started with Eddie Van Halen. You know, I was in a car with my buddy, and his brother was driving, and they put it in the 8-track. Catch that?
8-track. Did you just go there? What's that?
And it was running with the devil, and it cranked. And first chords are running with the devil. I say the same thing all the time, but it's like angels. Like the light came down, and like I was done. Like that was it. I was going to be a guitar player. That literally changed my life. So now that of course he's passed and he's truly immortalized now, everyone's like, oh, I was a big Van Halen fan. You weren't as big a fan as I was. He changed my life. So D, I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for Eddie Van Halen. I wouldn't have played guitar. I wouldn't be in this room, right? So anyway, he changed my life. But
wow,
Van Halen. But then you got to give it up for my other guys, Neil, Sean, and Journey. Like we're just so melodic and so singing, and even if you don't like Journey, which is impossible, I don't know how that could even be. You could hum the solo. You could hum the solo. Girls that don't, like girlfriends or whatever, they can hum the solo. It's just so powerful. So Neil Sean, Michael Schenker, back in the day, UFO had such a groundbreaking record called Strangers in the Night. It was a live double record. I devoured that. Brian May, still to this day, I can't even comprehend how he conceptualized all that and that tone and his musical approach, and so those are really my guys right there. Like those are that's the the Mount Rushmore of Zaza guitar players. There's a lot of other, but those are my guys.
I love it. The Mount Rushmore of Zaza. I'm going to create that sometime. Put it on the. So as times have changed, modeling software came on the scene, and we were modeling all this great gear, and AmpliTube was one of the first to really get modeling right. How important was products like AmpliTube to you crafting your sound and becoming the artist that you are?
It was huge, and the reason why is, you're at the disposal of availability of gear that you can get to, right? So if like I saved up when I was young and I bought a Marshall JCM 800, but I never knew until later in life what a Bogner was or a deluxe reverb or whatever. So the great thing about something like AmpliTube is that you can try different things and you can find out what works for you and what doesn't. Maybe you think it sounds a certain way, but when you try it, it gives you a different reaction, which might be a better thing, or different pedals or different effects or this and that. So it really is a big eye opener, and it is a big exploratory thing where you could become immersed in finding the tone where you might not be able to get the actual physical amp. So something like AmpliTube was, no pun intended, instrumental in actually a lot of
you're so good, bro.
Works, what we like, it's gold is what it is.
Which I love it. See, we could be on a comedy show, you and me. We're here. Okay. So, which brings me to the question of, your relationship with IK and AmpliTube. You've been a fan for years. You got the upgrade. You were the first ones to see AmpliTube 5, one of the very first. And people are just chomping at the bit. How big is this upgrade? Because you've been with us from AmpliTube 1 to now, and the ad says, one giant leap for AmpKind. Is it that big of an upgrade?
All hype aside. It's bigger than we could ever imagine. When you sent me the beta, at first you said, "Hey, I got AmpliTube 5 is getting rolling," and actually in the back of my mind, my first thought was, what more could you do? Like AmpliTube 4 was fantastic. I'm still working through like all the possibilities that you offer in 4, but 5, no hype, no cheerleading. It is game changing because it's so expansive. It's not just amps, and it's not just pedals, and it's not just cabinets. It's the symphony of all of it together, mixed with one of my favorite things is the mixer section, which I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit, where you could mix things like an analog console. You guys brought over one of my favorite things you guys make, which is Mixbox. You brought that over into it. You brought over, I've always been a fan of the Reverb series, good sound. Now you could choose in the mixer section, in the cab section, hall, bathroom, like it's so it's everything put together now in a real good user interface where it's so easy to use, and you have so many possibilities.
Wow. And when you think about AmpliTube, it's been synonymous with modeling. We're heralded as one of the best to ever do it. How close for a guitar player does it have to be when you say, I want this Fender, or I want this Orange, or this Gavin Kruger, or this Sedano? Can you hear the difference between the original to us? Is it that good now? Have we finally found the right market for that?
Oh yeah, it's spot on. But one of the things I love the most is, I don't want to say it's not about the tone, but it's about the feel, So where some modelers really fall down is maybe you'll have a clean sound, right? And it's only that. And then you have a high gain sound, and it's only that. But for me, when I use an amp, a physical analog real amp, I kind of only use one channel, and I'll use my volume knob as as my channel switcher, right? So if I wanted to clean up, I back it down, and it gets all angelic bell-like, and it gets very nice and clean. But then you unleash the fury, and you bring it up on 10, and now you have a real high gain sound. And that's what Mahler's always failed on, is the actual how an amp really reacts from 0 to 10. And that's what what do you guys call it? DIM? Is that what it's called in this version?
I think it's dynamic saturation modeling, or DIM in this new version. Yeah. So we're talking the way it responds to dynamics. When you play softer, it responds softer. When you play harder, it gets grittier. No other software does it.
Right. And that's one of the things that it may not be apparent when you open up this beautiful interface, like all these amps and pedals, but when you're playing it, and as you work that volume knob, it reacts like an amp. So that's one of the things that really, it almost makes the software disappear. And now I'm just playing. I could be playing a real amp, because it feels that way. Nothing is reminding me when I'm recording and playing that this isn't a real amp. And that's one of the magical things about the software, is that.
That's a great compliment, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've mentioned to me multiple times as you had it, is the workflow of the interface just seems much more intuitive, like especially with just dropping stuff in and out. How has that changed how you create?
So I'm looking at the interface right now. So obviously, if I want to add a pedal, it's really, really easy. So, I see my signal chain below here, and then if I want to go add a pedal, and there's every pedal known to man on the right-hand side, I just drag it in place, and I'm good to go. Also, the one thing that I really loved is, so if I'm auditioning an amp head, a lot of times you would have to drag something over or double click or like load the preset in with some other sims or whatever. This is easy. All I do is click on the amp head to the right, and it's engaged. So I could stay in a creative mindset and just start clicking through. Would that sound good? Click, and I could hear there's immediate feedback. I don't have to get all computery with it, if that makes any sense.
I like that word, computery. I'm going to save that, computery. Yeah.
Patent that. The cabinets are killer. One of the things I love the most, and I'm just working my way through the interface right now, is the rooms that you added were fantastic in AmpliTube 5. We have everything from the large studio hall, mid studio, but the bathroom. Who hasn't put an amp in a bathroom? And there's a certain sound to a bathroom, right?
Yeah.
I think it's killer, but.
And it really does help you craft a sonic palette that you couldn't have done any other way. You had to have a mixer with all those different components that you'd be able to blend in together. Nothing's ever done it that way as a guitar player, no? Yeah,
and this harkens back to being in a legit studio where you want reverb. You would have the send on the fader and just bring it up, and there's the sound. You mix it in to taste, so to speak, and you're good to go. It brings the whole thing together, and even I'm looking at the bus insert section. You could use pedals, you can use rack gear, from Mixbox. The sky's the limit. It's almost a little overwhelming. if I'm being honest, but in a good way. You don't have to lose your flow with the whole thing, and combinations to see how they sound immediately. It's a fantastic way to go.
Wow. Well, man, you and I have talked about this thing till we're blue in the face. Now people are looking at us like, come on, can we hear something? So we brought you here because you friggin' shred. So, can you show these guys how AmpliTube 5 actually sounds?
Absolutely. Why don't I take you through some of the presets? I'll play some stuff to some of my songs and kind of show you and everyone what I'm thinking, what I'm looking for with the different delays and overdrives and all that stuff. I think it'd be great.
I love it. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to get set. Let's get ready to go, guys. Thanks.
You got it.
I have an instance of the beta of AmpliTube 5 opened up right here in Studio One. And really the first thing you can see is that it has a different look to it, obviously. And it's just all really laid out in front of you so you could get to work immediately. Like you don't have to think where things are and where different menus are or this and that. Like you have your chain here, you have your amps, your main amp head or whatever's in focus. You'll have it right there. And then you have all your options to the right here. So the first thing I like in terms of just choosing an amp head is that it's an immediate reaction as soon as you're looking for something. So right now I have the Brit 8000. I wonder what that could be. But as I'm choosing another head, all you do is you have to click on it. And there's no double clicking or anything like that. It's just instant. Instantly, I can make the judgment as if it's something that I want to use. The other thing is the same thing applies to pedals. So if I want to change something, if I want to bring, I love this Satch overdrive actually. If I want to replace something, just drag it in, and you're ready to go. So it's really you're in the digital domain with an amp sim, but obviously it's just very much like an analog workflow. The knobs, the sound, the flow. It's all great. Just working down here in my layout here, my pedals that I have for this preset. Then you can go to the cabinets, which you have all these different selections of cabinets that you could do. My mind is blown. I can't even process how many cabinets that you can use. You could choose your microphones, choose your speakers. I mean, it's incredible. But I'm going to get to one of my favorite things that I love about dialing in a tone that I've really used in a lot of these presets, which is the room feature. So now I can hear something in a large room or a hall, and we'll turn that up in a second in the mixer. But and who doesn't want to use the bathroom, of course, in terms of putting your amp in there? We all know what that sounds like. So, and what brings it all together is the mixer here. So this is one of my favorite features because this is like working with an analog console where you would have your different microphones and you could get different blends of different mics, different preamps, different microphones and all that. Now, as we could bring in the room, and if we went back to room here, so you'll see, I'm going to change it to a large hall, and then I would go to my mixer here, and now the room reflects. You have your bus inserts, you have a DI that you can come in and out of, your master. So everything is right there in front of you. There's no real clicking around and looking for things. It's all just very immediate. So as far as this first song, I'm going to do a song called Wild Horses. The one thing that I really like about this is you can get a real nice clean crunch. But the thing is, I don't have to switch the preset. One of the great things that AmpliTube 5 does incredibly well is I just roll the volume up. And then, of course, if I add the pedal, a little overdrive. And even with a over scream on, I can still work the volume knob as much as I want. You know, you still have clean, but I can go from clean to raging distortion. it picks up all the nuances. And I have a habit of I switch pickups a lot between the neck and the bridge, and I can really hear the difference. There's that nice neck, that warmth in the neck pickup. So it reacts like a real amp. So, all right, let's get started. This first one's called Wild Horses, and you'll notice the different variations I use. I bring the pedal in, and I work the different pickups just to get a different tonal sound. But AmpliTube 5 supplies me with, the ability to treat it like an analog amp. So here we go. So one of the things I've always noticed about amp sims is that normally it's easier to get a great high gain sound, but sometimes everything sounds really anemic and thin in the cleaner, the low gain sounds. It's always been that way for me. So this next tune is called Before the Throne. So again, I'm looking for something that really kind of pops, has some warmth to it, but it has a little spank to it as well. So you'll notice on my preset on this, I've opted for a compressor for the main tone of the sound. It gives it a little hit here. Here's without. And now with. Everything just kind of hits a little bit harder. Even when I'm playing single notes on this, it's really picking up everything really nice. So here we go. Let's do it for real. Next one up, I have a song called "In My Dreams," and just going through the preset of that, I'm gonna bring in the Satch Overdrive because I really think that has a nice musical sound to it, gives it a very nice sustain to it. So, without the overdrive. Now, you'll see add that in. Gives it a little compression. And again, I could still bring the gain down. And it's still very articulate. Looking at my post amp effects. This is really nice because I can adjust everything here. So, I mean, who hasn't used a DD like this? So it's for a simple-minded guitar player such as myself, this is really easy to use. Here's my delay. And I have a little EQ in that as well. And that's really it. Again, we could blend all this with the mixer as we want, adjust different rooms, settings, the bus insert level, which would be the delay and the EQ that I use just to tweak things up a little bit. So in any case, let me start this preset again. All right, let's hear what this thing sounds like. What do you think? What do you say? All right, let's do it. Here's In My Dreams.
Now, we want to thank Neil for stopping by and helping us rock out with AmpliTube 5 here at IMSTA FESTA 2020 online. Unfortunately, I can't give away a copy of this product because it's not released yet. So here's what I'll do. I've got an idea. Why don't I give away a copy of AmpliTube Joe Satriani? Yeah, one of the guitar legends of all time. Who wants to sound like that, right? Friggin' killer. So I'm going to give away a copy of Joe Satriani today. All you got to do is answer one question. Put it in the chat, and my moderators will catch it, and we'll figure out who can win AmpliTube Joe Satriani today just for coming to the segment. How's that feel? Winner? Let's do it. All right, so the question is, give me 3 manufacturers that are branded inside the AmpliTube products that you can get on a separate brand. In other words, the branded manufacturer, like an amp manufacturer, that we've actually got a branded relationship with inside of AmpliTube. Give me 3 of those, put them in the chat, and you can win AmpliTube Joe Satriani. As simple as that. Can't make it any easier for that, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us at IMSTA FESTA 2020 online. Hope to see you again soon at IK Deeper Dive. Take care, guys. Have a great one.